The biggest difference in your performance from last week to this?
We spoke last week about improving our physicality, stopping some of their momentum, and I think, you know, there were times where last week we were good at that, and then times when we were poor at that. And again, same tonight, but I think that was quite a significant improvement in trying to stop their go forward and their momentum.
Next question. Good. Do you want to go on?
Did you fear that your discipline was going to let them get away from you a little bit?
Yeah. That's probably the most disappointing thing of the game is that the weather conditions. It means, you know, if it's a dry night and you're down to 14 men, it's very difficult to contain a side. But you know, the weather conditions, it allows you to potentially slow the tempo of the game down, play a little bit closer, and they were very effective in that third quarter and squeezed penalties out of us. And 18-9 down, we had to show some courage and some character, and that was, to me, it was huge amount of that we did that, got ourselves out of a hole, and eventually got ourselves in front. So it's a win for us. It keeps the series alive. Obviously the Sonny Bill Williams red card, that's significant number of penalties we gave away, and we're not getting too carried away with it. But the modern game of rugby, it's easy enough to you lose a game by 15, 20 points, and you can turn those sort of scores around the following week. And I thought we showed improvements in certain areas. I didn't think our kicking game was that brilliant at times, but we probably didn't kick enough in the conditions. I think the kicking stat was they kicked 16 times in the first half to our 9, and we allowed them out of a bit of pressure, but we showed some great character in terms of coming back, and I thought the way we controlled that last 10 minutes, it was especially significant.
Paul?
Warren, how much of the win was ultimately down to the changes you made, in tactics and personnel, and do you feel vindicated now, having, shaken the team up quite, radically in the week?
I don't think there was a massive shake-up radically. We felt that we created opportunities in the first test, and the opportunities that we created in the first test, we just weren't putting the ball through our hands. And tonight we made a couple of changes, and we did that. I thought the combination of our loose forwards was excellent, and the guys coming off the bench did a good job. So that wasn't a radical change in terms of selection. It was just, it was a tweaking and picking a side for tonight that we thought could do a job. We nearly got caught, but we were good enough to come out of that, and we'll see what happens over the next few days. We've got a couple of days off to Queenstown for a bit of skiing and recreation stuff. That was a joke. But a couple of days off to recover, and then start thinking about a tough test in Auckland, and it's going to be pretty brutal next week, I think.
Will?
Warren, can you give us your thoughts on the red card, and do you expect Sonny Bill to get a decent ban for that?
Yeah, look, it's just one of those things. He's led him with the shoulder, hasn't he? And the referees felt he's had no choice, so he's made the decision that. I think there was one earlier in the against us in the tournament where someone slipped and it's been a yellow card, so. The referees made the decision, so in terms of that, it was a significant loss for the All Blacks in terms of a key person, and we're aware of that, and so but the referees made that call.
Peter and then Alex, please.
There were a couple of contentious decisions. One was to stick with Alan Wynne-Jones. Could you talk about his performance, and also the performance of the 10-12 combination, given that the Ben Teo dropping out was also seen as being contentious?
Contentious by you guys, yeah. Isn't it kind of funny that hindsight's a great thing, isn't it? So look, Alan Wynne-Jones, I thought the second row were good, and then Maro's done brilliantly well. He's called well. He's given away a couple of stupid penalties, and that's at this level they can be costly. Courtney Laws has come on and given us a good impact, and I thought the 10-12 combination caused them lots of problems. And there's no doubt without Sonny Bill Williams there that made it easier for that 10-12 combination to cause them problems. And we went out the back a little bit and got them behind them and created some difficulties. And then, you know, that short pass to Jamie George when they were a little bit confused, that was a good decision. But and I thought that 10-12 combination worked pretty well. But I was disappointed with the accuracy of some of our kicking, particularly in that first half. You know, we haven't kicked on the spot, and it was kind of one of those games that, particularly in the first half, it was almost like you're better off playing without the ball than you were playing with the ball, because the team with the ball were tending to make the mistakes, and it was difficult to secure a ball when it was put in behind or when it was put in the air accurately. So that's probably an area that we need to improve for next week.
Alex and then Ollie, sorry.
Sam, how does it feel to finally get a win over New Zealand, and where does that rank in some of the victories you've had personally?
I don't know if it's because it's close after the game, but I didn't even celebrate when the final whistle went. I just sort of thought, you know, like we're evens now. It's almost like they won the first half, we won the second half, and we got one more half of rugby. So, yeah, I mean, I'm glad that we're taking it to Eden Park next week, but I genuinely would only be happy, you know, if we get that Test Series win next week. So I'm glad that we got one game, I guess. Regardless of whatever happens, you know, we're going to come back with definitely some credibility, and the Lions, you know, moving forward and keeping the reputation of that. But yeah, I'll only be happy if there's a series win on the line really for us next week. So it'd be nice to have a few days to recover, but already looking forward to Wednesday actually, and just want to get the job done and bring that series home.
Ollie?
Sam, following on from that a bit, you've kind of half answered my question actually, but I know a win's a win, but in the context of some of the stuff you talked about this week with the whole concept of the Lions, how important was that win to that? Yeah,
for players, we can't stress enough how important the Lions is for us personally. It's the absolute pinnacle of our careers, and for me, for Lions tours to move forward, from a playing point of view, every single player in the British and Irish Isles would say they'd want it to happen. So you do feel that responsibility when you play. You know the warm-up games are important, but when you play the test matches, they are really important. And you know that to get wins in test matches, it keeps the hopes alive of the Lions from the fans as well, you know. And it's good knowing that you can come to such a tough place like New Zealand off short preparation time and be able to win a test match. And now we're in the situation we can potentially win a test series. So it's great that we managed to put that performance into the jersey and keep that going, and hopefully that'll keep the Lions alive for at least another 4 years.
Ross, please.
Sam, how difficult were those conditions to play in, and how satisfying to score 2 tries in all that rain?
Yeah, very difficult conditions to play in. You probably went through, we go through a lot of sticky spray. You can see the guys running on with the water and sticky spray constantly. It was so greasy out there. So it was quite difficult to play, but I didn't even realise until somebody else told me that we hadn't conceded a try after the final whistle, because the game just passes you by so quick. And when I actually took a second to think about that's an incredible achievement itself. I know we were against 14 men, so we'd have to be prepared for a tougher encounter again next week, which is, you know, we're going to be against 15 blokes more likely, so have to step it up again next week. But I'm very proud of that defensive effort, and you can talk all the tactics in the world, I think, but sometimes it is just down to a bit of desire to get off your line and win some shots and put some collisions in, and we had that, I think, and that was the biggest difference for me from last week.
Murray?
Yeah, Warren, firstly, is everyone fit after that? Were there any fresh injuries?
Yeah, no, spoke to Dr. Anna Felvey, and he said, look, we're in pretty good health, and there are a few sore bodies tomorrow, but nothing to report from an injury perspective.
And just following on, how important is it now maybe to back the 15 guys who have that winning momentum, or potentially add in some fresh bodies for a pretty brutal test again?
Yeah, I mean, I think given the experiences of 4 years ago, you know, we'll just let the next 24 hours and settle down and watch the videos and then pick a team that we think's going to do the best job for next Saturday. And we've stressed all along, this hasn't been a squad of 23 players. It's been about everyone, and everyone's been really important, and pretty special. You know, there've been certain fractions that have tried to divide us, but they haven't been successful in doing that. And we've lost 4 players, and we're down to 37 now. But they've been an incredibly united group of players that have been sort of pushing for each other and urging each other on. And that's, you know, we saw that the celebrations and the change rooms afterwards. And you don't get that unless a group of guys are proud about what they've done and achieved, and not just the 23, but everyone in the squad. And as Sam said, what it means to the players to put that Lions jersey on.
Katie, please.
Warren, I just wondered what tonight means to you personally, because as well as it being a great team effort and that unity that you spoke about within the group, you must derive a huge sense of personal satisfaction from this as a coach.
Yeah, look, there's no doubt the last couple of weeks in terms of the criticism and personal attacks has been, you know, it's been a little bit tough to take. Not so much for myself, because that's part of sport, but for family members and things. But ironically, the thing about Kiwis and New Zealand public, they're probably the most fairest people that you'd ever come across. And who has been doing that, they would have no idea how that's galvanised us as a group, and the amount of support that I've had from, and the team's had from Kiwis in terms of good luck tonight, going up the stairs to made it on Tuesday, people shaking hands, saying well done, ex-All Blacks contacting me and saying, I hope you do well. Some of the stuff that's been written in the press and the personal stuff is just completely over the top. So ironically, that's probably, there's a huge proportion of obviously Lions fans and Kiwis wanting us to do well, because you know, they think some of it's been a little bit unfair, but you know, it's probably, you know, like I said last week, it's water off a duck's back to me, but it's actually been ironically a huge positive. So whoever's been doing that, please continue to do it, because it's not working. It's actually probably been great for us.
Liam and then Owen, last one, please.
Warren, given everything that you're inspired tonight, what sort of confidence do you take out of it, and what sort of response do you expect from the All Blacks?
Well, you know, we take a huge amount of confidence in terms of, and we stepped up physically, which was a challenge. We scored a couple of nice tries. Obviously, the red card is significant to the All Blacks. And we know in the past and historically what New Zealand teams are like when they lose, how they respond. And there's no better example of what happened in Chicago to see what happened in Dublin following that. So we're up. We know we're going to be in for an almighty battle in Eden Park next week. But we've come out of tonight with some belief and some confidence. You know, we've kept the All Blacks trialists. I don't know when the last time that happened. For two test matches in a row, they haven't really stressed us from an attacking perspective, and we think we're the ones that have played some pretty positive rugby, and we felt we had improved in certain areas, and we know when we take a close look at ourselves over the next couple of days and look to improve in those areas for next week, that hopefully is one hell of a test match in Eden Park next week.
Last one from Owen, please.
Samuel, Warren. Kyle Sinclair appeared to take a while to enjoy the victory. It appeared that he wouldn't go through the guard of honour or shake hands. He was pretty cross. So I just wonder, it wasn't sort of in the spirit of a post-match traditionally. Did you see what happened or why or?
I was doing interviews post-match. That's news to me. Actually, I didn't know about that. No,
I didn't see it either. Haven't heard anything.
Okay, thank you, Owen.
No idea.
Done. Thank you.
Sorry. I was celebrating.